Hi everyone, I'm Xanadar and welcome to my UI guide. I've been making videos for a while now and I get asked a lot about my UI, so I thought I'd give you a little guided tour. Now this isn't a tutorial on how to build a UI, it's just a video on what I think about it and what considerations I have when I'm putting them together. I'll also throw in a bit about my favourite add-ons and a few little tips and tricks as well that I use to keep things looking neat and tidy. So over the years I've had many different UIs, and as you can see from the screenshot, some were pretty shocking, but you can see how they've gradually evolved into something cleaner and much more productive. As I've become a more competent and responsible raider, I've come to appreciate how a nice clean UI can help improve almost all aspects of my game. Everything from playing my class to being more aware of my surroundings and what's actually going on in the raids themselves. And most importantly of all, I'd say, if I'm going to be spending hours of my life staring at a computer screen, I might as well try and make it look as pretty as possible. So, let's take a look at my current UI, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so here is my current UI. I'm not doing anything particularly exciting at the moment, just thought I'd let you have a look and see what it's like, maybe explain where I put stuff and why I put stuff where I do. When I'm thinking about my UIs and I'm putting everything together, I think about all the stuff that's most important for me to know, and that basically goes in the center of my screen. This is my need to know area. Everything here, pretty much up until my combat log, my chat box basically, and all of my artwork recounts and sexy map etc. over there. Everything in this section is basically what I have to see. So you have your character, plenty of viewing space around it, not too much directly underneath him, so you can always see if it's in fire or anything stupid. Unit frames, for which I use shadow unit frames. Here you can see that's my target. I have the target of target selected up here. Down here is my pet, just sat above its own pet bar. And if I focus, you'll see my focus comes up here, and my focus target comes up there as well, so I can see what my focus target is attacking. That's usually a tank, because I have a misdirection macro, so I can always keep an eye on what my tank's actually attacking when I need to know. Flanked either side of those, like I said, this is more peripheral stuff, so it's not stuff I essentially need to know there and then. It's stuff that's useful to me, and it's nice to keep an eye on. So over here, for example, I've got my objectives for my quests. I've had to use move anything to get that over there, because it tends to link in with wherever your map goes, so it will hover around over here unless you unlink them. Also over in this section I will have my DBM timers, like counting down for various boss abilities, which then move down into the center. I mean, all of that you're going to see anyway a little bit later on when I do the I'd show some clips of kill vids and things like that I have there to kind of like highlight how it works when I'm actually in a raid itself. Down in the middle here, you'll see I have all of my action bars. Well, I say all of them, these are the main ones. I try and keep it as concise as possible. I don't like having lots of bars and buttons all over my screens. Unfortunately, as a hunter, there's about 1 million abilities that you have to use a majority of the times, and some always come in useful somewhere. But this is the basics of it. I've got my pet abilities there, my basic rotations, anything I need. This is where I tend to put macros or any additional ones, just that would be useful. I have all that key bounds to my Razor Naga. What I really like with Bartender though is the fade out ability. With that I've actually got a lot more bars on the screen that you can't see because of the fade out ability. Now if I just come up here and open that, you'll see there's the bar lock, and you can see all of the other ones I actually have there that I have hidden. To do that, if you just go highlight one of the bars, say bar 5, which is this one down here, invisibility, you see fade out, deselect that, it's going to stay there all the time like any of these. Click fade out, it will disappear when you don't want it. You just change the alphas and the delays etc, depending on how fast you want that to happen. So let's go back to looking all that. You see nothing there, so now when I mouse over it, pow, there they are. Pets, mounts, additional macros, anything I need to move over. I've got my bag bars over here, and then I've got macros, my skills, Hearthstone, just general rubbish kind of floating around on those ones. It's nice to have on bars that I don't have to go through 101 different menus. I have grid over here. Now, I know for a lot of healers it's going to be more important to see those. For me, I'm a DPS, doesn't mean anything to me unless we're wiping or we've had someone go down when I'm monitoring the raid, when I'm raid leading. Don't really have any interest in it, but it's useful to have there just for the additional. Here I have recount. Now this only ever shows when I'm not in combat. When I'm actually in combat, that will replace itself with Omen, which is something you'll see a little bit later again when I start going through all of the combats. I have Sabrina buff aims up here for my buffs. Also I have them highlighted on my target as well. This will fill up quite quickly during PvP with the 101 different buffs and debuffs that everything gets, but you know, you can get some useful information out of there. I also have a little one down here which will show my debuffs. So for example, the slime on Chimeron, when that landed it would show up here and I'd know not to fire anything because I'd be wasting DPS. Here is basically my stance icon, so you can see when I use my stance macro, it will change between fox or nature or hawk, whichever one I want to use at the time. So yeah, I mean that pretty much covers it in terms of what you can see there. There's only so much I can show you just standing around. So what I'll do is I think we'll move on to the combat section. We'll have a look at the dummies and you can see everything in action. I can talk you through a bit more of it there. Okay, so here we are at the dummies. We'll have a quick look at what my UI functions like in basic combat. From here you can see obviously I've got tidy plates running. It's a very useful add-on. You can use lots of customizable features with it to make it fit in with your UI style wise, and it gives you a lot of useful information that you can kind of customize as well. So I always like using that. I tend to find it's a lot stronger than a lot of other nameplate add-ons. In terms of combat and how the UI tends to function, everything really comes from down this section here. Now in the middle you can't see it because I'm not actually in combat, but that's Serenity there, which is my focus bar add-on essentially. Anything that's got some kind of energy usage or basically any kind of resource management, I'll have it across there in my UIs just because it fits this gap nicely directly underneath my character and I can see everything that's going on. So if we see what that looks like when we start putting things into combat, send Ravage in for an attack. There we go, and I've entered into combat. Now you'll notice, like I said before, my damage meter, my recount actually disappears when I go into combat because it tends to go straight into Omen, but you can't see that when I'm in a dummy. So there's Serenity. You can see it's become nice and opaque now because I'm actually in combat. That allows me to do lots of different things. So let's set something up. There's Serpent Sting. Now you see that's come up on my Serenity bar, which is really useful because that means I can monitor everything without really having to look outside of this little box. It will monitor my durations for Serpent Sting, and if I fire on Explosive and Black Arrow, you can see these are the cooldowns. So I know explosives coming off, I can fire it. Now lock and load is just proc, as you'd noticed, and these are the two markers that would come up. I fired one off a second ago, so there's only one there, and we'll pop the other one, and there we go, it's completely gone, and then it's back. So I can see everything that's on cooldown all running through here. When I'm in a raid, you'll also notice that heroism will run down this as well, so I can just monitor everything. I've got heroism, I have my rapid fire, all of that all goes through here, so it's a really useful piece of kit to have, especially as a hunter. There are a lot of different add-ons that you can use for various different classes that will function in the same kind of way, and that's what I pretty much do. Underneath that, you will have seen whilst I was casting Cobra Shot, to refresh that is my quartz bar. Pretty standard. Anyone who's got any kind of class that does a cast will have that. Basically, it's a standard run-of-the-mill add-on. I have my global cooldown running across my focus bar as well, just because that's another thing I can help monitor. I mean, even to a point, I don't really have to look outside this little section to know what's going on with my cooldowns and my priority orders, etc. Down here is another one. This is a new addition, so you won't see it in many of the kill videos, but it's a fantastic little add-on that I've picked up called Extra CDs, or Extra Cooldowns, and it will monitor the internal cooldowns and the proc lengths for anything, any trinkets or any weapons that have a proc on them, which is especially good for Dragon Soul, because obviously almost every single trinket or weapon has some kind of proc based on it. So let's see if I can just force my Chrono Hunter, which is my 4-piece tier set. There it goes. You see that's running at 14 seconds and it's counting down, going inside there, so I can see how long that's actually going to last for without having to look up here anywhere. I can see it all down right in that one section, and then there goes the internal cooldown. So it's really, really good to be able to monitor everything from there. If you need burst, say for spine when you're doing the tendons, and you can judge it. If you've got any control over your procs, that'll help you no end, because you can just monitor it all quite nicely from there. Above that here, I usually have my enemy cast bar, which you'll see again once we have a look at some of the kill vids. The only thing really left to show you when it comes to combat on a basic level is really just the mixed scrolling battle text that I have coming down either side of my character. That's all outgoing attacks and damage. This will be all incoming attacks and damage. You also see that I get my focus come down, focus regain from Cobra Shot. That'll tick down there as well. But generally, this side good, that side bad. You know if you're standing and stuff, because this is just going red, and then the UI will just go completely mental at you for being stupid. That pretty much covers it from a basic standpoint. I'll show you timers and everything for DBM etc. through the kill vid, so I'll just kind of like move on to that in a second and talk you through a quick kill vid, so you can just see how the UI functions all together. When I've got a full raid group filling this all up, you can see Omen and everything functioning and replacing itself with recount etc. all from there. But yeah, that pretty much covers it, so we'll move on to those now, I think. Okay, so here you can see me in combat with Morchok Heroic. On the left, as I was describing, you can see all of the cooldowns for various boss abilities and ticking across the screen. Stomp will come up shortly. There it is, pow, and you can see the cast bar, the enemy cast bar, go across the top of my Serenity. Also you can see down in the bottom right hand you'll have all of my Omen, as I said, covering over everything. There's another stomp. So you've got Omen coming up there, my raid frames and everything to the right filled up in that nice little spot that I've used. I should mention actually, because I haven't yet, all of the artwork and everything that I have there is actually KG panels. Takes a lot to figure out some of the time. It took me like an entire afternoon to figure it out properly, but very, very much worth it, because you can put a real bit of artistic flair, so to speak, onto your UI, so I highly recommend it. You can also see my ice tip coming up every now and again up in the corner. Now we move on to a quick shot of Yorsaj. This one's more really just to show you what my tidy plates look like when there's lots of ads. As you can see, they're all coming in, so it all kind of like covers up there nicely. They tick in. I can see that there's a lot there, so I know when to attack. Again, timers and everything, so it all makes sense. And finally, just a quick shot of Ultraxion Heroic, just so you can see where I have the action bar. I have it there at the moment because it looks a bit high. It's a little bit annoying, but as you can see, the cast bar comes and tucks itself in quite nicely underneath it, so it's all just a matter of trying to keep it all in that one spot. But generally I think that that covers pretty much all aspects of the UI there, so thank you very much for taking the time to have a look at them. Hopefully you like the video. If you do, please feel free to sound off in the comments below. Click like, subscribe if you'd like, however you'd like to do it. But yeah, thank you very much for your time.